y'all. It's Hope at Crafty Hope, and welcome to day 19 of ICAD 2022. ICAD means Index Card a Day, and it's from Tammy Garcia, who has weekly themes and daily prompts. Her prompt today is Selvedge. Think I'm saying that right. And for some reason, I was thinking that I knew it was like the sides of fabric, like when you get a yard of fabric, there's that little bit at the end that doesn't fray. So that's considered salvage, but any kind of end of fabric that doesn't fray, I think is salvage. But I was also thinking like the edges of some scrapbook paper have like I don't know, like a maker's name or a product, company name on it. And I was thinking that could also be salvage, but anyway, I didn't use that really. I've got a couple little pieces of that will get thrown in here in the collage. But there's also the mixed media ICAD prompts from Nina Fickett, and hers today is chipboard. And so I've got a couple little wooden and craft paper cutout laser cut things. They're not really chipboard, but the chipboard prompt made me think of those things. So I've got a couple of those. Not really sure what I'm going to use. Decided to just sit down and start throwing things at my index card and see what happens. So I've got a little piece of fabric that has a selvage edge on it off to the side that will get used. And like I said, I've got, I think I'm going to bring it in here, which is a piece of scrapbook paper. Again, you can see like the artist's name or the company name on the back of it. And I was thinking that it's also kind of a selvage edge, but I don't know. That's just, again, it was just something that inspired me. It may not be the exact prompt, and you don't have to use the prompts. I think yesterday I really enjoyed my card a lot. Like, it's one of my favorite cards, and I used both prompts. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to use both prompts again today and it'll be awesome. And I'm not quite as thrilled with today's card as I was yesterday's. It's not a complete disaster, but I was working with a couple of things that were in my way, which is my husband was sleeping in the other room and I wanted to be as quiet as possible while I made this. So here you can see I put some gesso down and it was fairly wet, and I was like, oh, I don't want to turn on my heat gun to dry it. What am I going to do? So I put more wet things down. I put that is some golden fluid acrylic and primary cyan. I put some water on it, made it even more wet, moved it also around with my brayer. And can y'all see how wet that is? I was like, what am I going to do? It's so wet. Oh, y'all, I was such a bad wife. I went ahead and was like, well, my door is closed. Maybe he won't hear it. So I went ahead and dried that and then pulled out. I knew it was already looking like a muddy mess to me. Why do I do that? Why do I cover these cards with one shade of acrylic over the whole thing? I never seem to like it. But I'm gonna try to work up from there. So I've got this Americana paint and Saffron Yellow, and I'm just putting some marks down with it, and I'll grab my Stabilo All and go around a couple of them kind of messily, thinking, okay, well, I'm just gonna highlight a few of these marks. But then I was like, no, I really like these circles around these marks. I'm gonna do all of them. And then of course I'm going to grab my paintbrush to activate that, and I'm going to love that grungy goodness. This is probably one of my favorite things on this card. So I tend to come into these cards just to play and experiment with different things. And today I don't know, I wasn't feeling super creative this morning, but I wanted to get my card done. And it just sometimes you just got to play and see what happens. And there are a couple things that now that the card's done, I wish I had come back and done. I even thought about deleting all the photos and coming in and starting the video over and all that and adding a couple things. But I'm like, no, this is what today's card is, and it's not bad. I'd like to know what you would do and how, what you think of it. Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions about what ICAD is that I don't explain, please ask away. So I felt like I needed some white on there. Again, I was trying to delay using that heat gun. So I put a couple dots down with my, it's a Sharpie paint pen. And then I was absolutely compelled to put down some like neon green splatters. This is the Amsterdam Reflex Green acrylic ink. So I'm just splattering that on there. It's all right. I don't know why. I was feeling neon green, but we're gonna go for it. So while that is sitting there wet, I decided to pull out one of the little chipboard pieces, which is this leaf, and then that little piece of Selvedge fabric edge. And I know I'm gonna stack those. Yeah, I don't know. And then I was like, well, I need to do something with this leaf. So I used that little bit of green ink that was still in my palette pan. And I just painted that leaf a little bit just to give it a little something, something to see if that would help it pop off of that fabric. And it kind of does, but I start to realize that the fabric needs something too. So I'm going to play around with it, trying to decide, okay, where's it going to go? What is it needs? And I was thinking maybe I'll dye it. Maybe I'll add some paper or something in this little stack, and went back and forth, and I finally decide to, I'm going to add some splatters, some more splatters to this card. So I used just some white gesso and watered it down a little, and I'm going to splatter also on the card again with the white, and that helps. It does. Those Sharpie dots that I had made, they're kind of gone now that I've put the splatter down, but it's okay. I needed more white on this card. So now I'm going to look at this fabric again, and I know it needs something to make it a little bit more standout-ish. And so I decide to grab my Stabilo again and just make some X's on it. That's the great thing about these Stabilos is they're considered an all pencil because they will mark on pretty much all surfaces. I haven't found one yet I can't mark on. So fabric works. So I put that on there and decided that's what I need for my little stack. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. I used my glue stick to do the fabric down, but I knew that chipboard or that piece of wood, I don't know that it's really chipboard, was going to be a little too heavy, so I'll grab some Aleene's tacky glue and put that down. My E6000 would have worked, or probably some matte gel medium would have been fine. But yeah, for some reason I was like, grab the tacky glue. So that's what we got, and it works. The card's dry now, and it's great. There is some kind of that pokes a little bit out from behind, but that tacky glue dries clear, so it doesn't really matter. And then I come in with my small talk stickers. I knew I wanted some black, a pop of black on here. And I found a phrase that says, "You are capable of becoming more than you realize." And I thought with the leaf, that quote is kind of about growing, and with the leaf they grow. And I think that sounded kind of perfect, and it needs some highlights. So I grabbed a Uniball Signo white gel pen, and I'm just gonna messily go around the stickers, and then realize that I want to frame up my card a little bit. So I grab just a cheap black pen, and I'll go around the card kind of messily there too and finish it up. All right, guys, this is it for day 19. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to try to keep this up of doing daily, but in a couple weeks, I know I'm going out of town, and I don't know how I'm going to juggle that. So we'll see. I hope you're enjoying these as much as I am, and I will see y'all later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.